Rohan borrowed 10,000 INR at 3% per annum simple interest for 2 years. He lent out the same amount at 5% per annum simple interest for 2 years. Then find his profit. Okay. Now there are multiple ways to solve the question. Again, like couple of ways which I can tell you. The first is you find the total amount lent. Okay, lent उसमें से कितना interest आ रहा है that you find out. Okay, minus the borrowed amount. When Rohan borrowed 10,000 INR at 3% per annum simple interest for 2 years. Okay, so for 1 year, if he's paying 3% of the 10,000, and for 2 years, it becomes 2 into 3% of 10,000, right? What is the amount I have lent? I have lent 10,000 at 5% per annum simple interest for 2 years. एक साल में I would have got 5% of 10,000. Right? But 2 साल में कितना हो जाएगा? 2 into 5% of 10,000. Okay. When I subtract them, I get the required profit, right? So 5% of 10,000. 10,000 ka 10% is 1,000. 5% is 500 into 2 will be 1,000 rupees. That is the amount which I'll be getting. उसमें से how much do I owe? I owe 3% of 10,000. 300 into 2, 600. So what is my overall profit? That will be 400. Okay. Now there is a much quicker way to solve this question apart from like doing this. Okay. See, what we observe is whenever the base is same, you can always add, subtract the percentage. Okay. This we basically use in pie chart also. Okay. So you'll be getting 5%. You'll be giving 3%. The difference is 2% every year. 2 साल में 4% हो जाएगा. 10,000 is 400 rupees. That's the answer. Let's solve the next question, guys. Praveen invests a total of 28 lakhs in 2 different schemes, yielding 35% and 21% return per annum. If he obtains a total of 16.8 lakh INR in 2 years, find the amounts invested in each scheme. It's a very good question. Let's understand how we deal with this. So if 16.8 lakhs INR in 2 years, that is the return you have obtained. एक साल में कितना return मिला होगा? In 1 year, the return which you have got is 16.8 divided by 2, which is 8.4 lakh. Okay, एक साल में, right? Praveen invests a total of 28 lakhs in 2 different schemes, right? Okay. Suppose 35% वाला स्कीम है, उसका इंटरेस्ट 35% वाला जो अपना इंटरेस्ट रेट है उस पर x रुपीज इन्वेस्ट किया, 21% वाले पे सपोज y रुपीज इन्वेस्ट किया. So can we say x plus y is equal to 8.4 lakhs? Of course, the total. So can we say x plus y is equal to 28 lakh? Of course, that's the total investment, right? Okay, now इस x वाले स्कीम पे x वाले अमाउंट पे 35% रिटर्न है. 35% of x is 0.35x plus 21% return y पे है, so it will be 0.21y. That's the total return which you will be getting, right? And this is equal to 8.4 lakhs. Okay, now this is equivalent to 2 simultaneous equations. What are simultaneous equations? Please don't raise your eyebrows. We'll discuss in detail. Okay, in the next module, algebraic equations. पहला part वही है. Okay, so if you're not very much sure about simultaneous equations, you can skip this part right now. आराम से देख लेना बाद में after you complete the 3rd module. But I believe if you have it, and yes, if you do have it, then we can solve this equation then and there. Okay, we'll eliminate one of the 2 variables. Okay, we'll try to eliminate x. Okay, so we'll multiply the first equation with 0.35. Okay, so doing that, it becomes 0.35x plus 0.3y is equal to 28 into 0.35. 28 into 0.3 तो 8.4 के बराबर ही हो जाएगा, right? 28 into 0.3 will be nothing but 8.4 only. 3, 8, 24, 3, 6, 8.4. Okay, अब बस क्या करना है, 28 को 0.05 से मल्टीप्लाई करना है. That will be nothing but 1.4. 28 बेसिकली हाफ हो जाएगा कितना, 14. उसका वापस से हमका करना है 110 करना है, so 1.4. So this is nothing but 9.8 lakhs. Okay, so when you subtract them, okay, if you subtract this equation पहला वाला from second, you can cancel out this x का value. 0.35y minus 0.21y will be 0.14y, and this will be nothing but 1.4 lakh. So 0.14y is 1.4 lakh. Okay, so 1.4y is 14 lakh. Basically, that gives you y is equal to 10 lakh. As simple as that. Once you get y, okay, x कितना हो जाएगा, 28 minus 10, 18 lakh. Okay, so the amounts invested are 18 lakh and 10 lakh. Okay, I'm not saying a method galat hai. Okay, I probably think that this is going to be the first thing that might strike. Okay, But then there's a much quicker way to solve this question apart from this method. Okay, let's see how. We observe that 8.4 is the total interest that you obtain in 1 year, right? Okay, 8.4 is what percentage of 28 lakhs? The overall investment is 30%. Okay, now we use something called as the rule of allocation. Okay, if you are not very much sure about method of allocation right now, okay, koi baat nahi. Okay, I'll just tell you कि क्या exactly करना है, and we are anyway going to discuss the same question in detail when we do allocations and mixtures. Okay, so 35%, 21%, उनका 30% सब लोग allocation लगाएंगे. The ratio I'll be getting basically 9:5. Okay, so basically 28 को ratio break करेंगे हम लोग 18 lakhs and 10 lakhs. That's a much quicker way to solve the question. A part of 38,800 INR is lent out at 6% per 6 months. Okay, if it is 6% per 6 months, okay, that should ring your bells. पहले बात तो कि per annum में दिया है. Okay, the rest of the amount is lent out at 5% per annum after 1 year. Okay, the ratio of interest after 3 years from the time when the first amount was lent out is 5:5. Okay, find the second part that was lent out at 5%. Okay, all right. So what we can do here is we can observe that 38,800 जो है it's a total investment, right? Okay, इसका एक part is invested. Okay, इसका एक part लिया है that is invested at 6% per 6 months. अगर 6% 6 months में है, एक साल में कितना है? Double 12%. Okay, so 12% per annum. That's the first part. Let me call it as X rupees. X rupees तुमने invest किया at 12% per annum. Okay, all right. उसके बाद after 1 year, okay, the rest of the amount is lent at 5% per annum after 1 year. Okay, the second part I call it as Y rupees. This is lent at 5% per annum. Okay, after 1 year. Okay, the ratio of the interest after 3 years from the time the first amount was lent. Total 3 साल starting से X invest किया तब से. Okay, so let's understand. जो X वाला अमाउंट था वो 3 साल पहले इन्वेस्ट हुआ था, मतलब 3 साल के लिए इन्वेस्टेड था. इफ 1 year में 12% रिटर्न मिलेगा, 3 साल में कितना मिल जाएगा? P into N into R. So 3 into 12% of X मिलेगा रिटर्न 3 साल में, right? What about the second? The second वाला जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है 5% per annum वाला, 5% per annum is for 1 year, right? लेकिन वो एक साल बाद इन्वेस्ट हुआ है. Why? Okay, that means it is being invested for only 2 years. So what is the total interest you'll be getting? 2 into 5% of Y, right? This ratio is given to us in the question. This ratio is given as 5:4. Okay, so what you can now do is you can simply write 3 into 12 into X. See, I know 12% में 12 upon 100 आएगा, but वो 5% में भी आएगा 5 upon 100, तो 100 cancel हो जाएगा. Are we understanding this? Okay, this 12% is nothing but 12 by 100. I accept. The 5% also is 5 by 100 ना. So when you divide these two guys, ये upon 100 अपने आप cancel ही हो जाएगा, right? So no need to write it. Okay, so 3 into 12 into X divided by 2 into 5 into Y, it's given to you as 5:4. Okay, so you can just cancel out. You can just write 2 ones are and 2 twos are, and you can just take X and Y here. So this will give you X upon Y as 5 5 are 25. 172. Okay, that's the ratio of X to Y. Now guys, मैंने अभी इसी वीडियो में ही बोला है, I'll tell once again. Okay, the numbers are given to help you out, right? So if you observe, the investment is broken in the ratio X to Y, which is 25 to 72. 25 plus 72 is 97. That corresponds to 38,800 in the question, right? Find the second part that was lent at 5%. Okay, that corresponds to how much? 72. So 97 अगर corresponds to 38,800, 98,7 into 4 is 388 basically. Okay, so this is 400 times. So 72 भी कितना हो जाएगा basically into 400. 4 2 8, 4 7 28, 28,000. So the second part of the investment is basically 28,800. Okay. Now, guys, this is what I'll be doing when I'll be explaining it to you, of course. Okay. जब मैं इसको solve करूँगा, okay, my thought process should be such that I write only one step. Okay, when I solve this. Okay, and that step is directly this part. That's all. Okay, and this is actually the very first thing I did when I saw this question for the first time. Okay, I directly wrote this equation. I got the ratio of X to Y and I got the answer. Okay, so that's how it is, and we have actually tried our best to put up the comprehensive and different types of questions for simple interest. I think if you've understood these questions that you've solved, you can probably solve most of the simple interest based questions very, very easily.